Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan was arrested today after he was sentenced to 3 years in prison for illegally selling state gifts while he was Prime Minister between 2018 and 2022. The 70-year-old cricketer turned politician denies the charge and has always said the mounting cases against him are politically motivated and intended to stop him from running for election. Good evening, I'm Abhyuday Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Dispute between the government and main opposition CPN-UML regarding the recent gold scandal makes the parliament ineffective. No discussions held to clear the obstruction at the parliament. Central members of CPN Maoist Center puts pressure on the party to select its leadership through competition. Complaints of frustration rise, saying the party leadership always prioritizes power. Police arrest Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan in Lahore after a court sentences him to 3 years in prison for illegally selling state gifts. And Japan defeat Norway 3-1 to reach the FIFA Women's World Cup quarterfinals after 8 years. Spain also advanced into the last 8, thrashing Switzerland 5-1. The main opposition CPN-UML has obstructed the parliament on several occasions, demanding to probe into the latest gold scandal. The Department of Revenue investigation has been probing into the case, while the government has also included the Central Investigation Bureau, CIB, of Nepal Police for the investigation. The budget session of the federal parliament is currently ongoing. The main work of the session concluded after the budget was endorsed at the end of the last fiscal year. However, the session has been extended, citing that laws related to civil service, federal education, Commission for the Investigation of Abuse of Authority CIAA, transitional justice, among others, should be formulated. The continuous obstruction of the parliament on various pretexts has left important works subdued. The main opposition CPN-UML has remained firm on its demand for a high-level investigation committee to probe into the recent gold scandal, while the government says it is not needed. CPN-UML has been alleging of a possible involvement of high-level government officials in the gold scandal and says that only a committee would ensure impartial investigation. The differences between the ruling alliance and the main opposition has affected the proceedings of both the houses of the parliament. The leadership of CPN Maoist Center is being criticized at the ongoing Central Committee meeting of the party. Central Committee members have accused office bearers of not being able to operate the party and warned that the party would collapse if this continues. They have demanded to hold a special convention to appoint leaders through competition. This has exerted pressure on party chairperson Pushpa Kamal Dahal, who has remained in the leadership post of CPN Maoist Center since almost 3 decades. Pushpa Kamal Dahal has been leading the government, although CPN Maoist Center is the 3rd largest party in the parliament. Dahal has been strongly criticized during the ongoing Central Committee meeting of the party. Members have blamed Dahal of ignoring the party after he assumed the top executive post. Youth leaders have warned Dahal that lower-level cadres have become disheartened as the leadership has always prioritized power and that it could lead to a split of the party. Chairperson Dahal is being criticized for making the party structure large. Despite all the criticisms, Dahal has increased the number of Central Committee members to 409. During the party's 8th General Convention, held in November-December 2021, CPN Maoist Center had announced of holding a special convention soon. The central members were appointed during the convention. However, the office bearers had not been appointed. A few days after the General Convention started, Dahal was appointed as the party chair. Meanwhile, the Central Committee meeting that was held 13 months ago appointed the office bearers of the party as per Dahal's wish. Now the party leaders have been pressurizing Dahal to appoint leaders democratically. The party has decided to hold its statute convention in 4 months and its special convention within 8 months. In our Public Voice segment today, we have asked people in several provinces regarding political parties' reluctance in handing over leadership to younger generation. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
पाका पुस्ताका नेतृत्व युवाहरूबाट विस्थापित हुन्छ भन्ने डरले
पुस्ता हस्तान्तरण गर्ने बित्तिकै अर्कोले कुर्सीमा समाउँछ। नेपालमा चाहिँ राम्रो योग्य चाहिँ नेताहरू नै देखे हैन।
सधैँ आफू शक्तिमा रहन चाहन्छन्, आफ्नो शक्ति अरूलाई दिन चाहदैन।
सत्ता, शक्ति र परिवारवादकै मोहको कारण
हात खुट्टा पनि चल्दैन, त्यो पनि त्यही पदमा बसौ, त्यही पदमा बसौ। नयाँ पुस्तालाई पनि दिने मौका दिनु पर्यो।
नेतृत्वमा विश्वासको सङ्कट,
राजनीतिलाई पेशाको रूपमा लिने हो।
बुढा पाकाहरूलाई चाहिँ अब अलिकति पदको लालच बढी भयो।
एकचोटि शक्तिमा पुगिसके पछाडि त्यसको एउटा रवाफ हुन्छ, त्यसबाट विमुख हुन चाहदैन उनीहरू।
नयाँ पुस्ताहरू पढे लेखेका छन् र उनीहरू क्षमतावान छन्, उनीहरू चाहिँ एकैपटकमा पदमा आउँदाखेरि अलिकति पुरानो पुस्ताहरूलाई त्यो असह्य हुन्छ।
उनीहरूले पनि सोच्नु पर्यो, अब यो बुढो मान्छेहरूले देश चलाउनु र युवाहरूले चलाउनु धेरै फरक पर्छ।
युवाहरूलाई यो विश्वास नगर्नुको कारण
Foreign Minister N.P. Saud has requested the Indian side to help in the search and rescue of the Nepali nationals that went missing in a landslide triggered by incessant rainfall in India's Rudraprayag district in Uttarakhand state. Foreign Minister Saud held a telephone conversation with Uttarakhand State's Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami and requested him to help in the search and rescue of the missing 13 Nepali nationals. In response, Chief Minister Dhami informed that security personnel and rescuers had already been deployed from this morning in search of the missing people. 13 Nepali and 6 Indian nationals have gone missing in a landslide triggered by incessant rainfall on Thursday near Gaurikunda of Rudraprayag district in India's Uttarakhand state. According to counselor at the Nepalese embassy in New Delhi, Uma Prasad Chaturvedi, 3 of the missing Nepali nationals have been identified as 39-year-old Prakash Tamrakar of Kalikote's Khada Chakra 1 Manma Koirel village and 32-year-old Tek Bishwakarma and 38-year-old Devi Bishwakarma, both from the Khada Chakra 1 Manma Dharneri ward. Ward chairperson of Khada Chakra 1 Dharmaraj Tamrakar informed that the 3 individuals had taken recommendation letters from the district administration 3 months ago before heading to Kedarnath in search of work. The Nepalese embassy in New Delhi has informed that it has been coordinating with the Indian side for the search and rescue of the missing Nepali nationals. 3 hotels that were being operated by Nepali nationals in Gaurikunda, which lies on the way to the religious site Kedarnath, had been swept away by the landslide. A large number of Nepali nationals are operating hotels in the region. Prime Minister Pushpa Kamal Dahal has provided assurances of conducting investigation on the Gaur massacre and taking actions against the perpetrators. During a discussion with the representatives of the Gaur Massacre Victim Struggle Committee, Premier Dahal said that the government was committed to provide justice to the victims. The families of those who had lost their lives in the Gaur massacre had been staging protests in Rohtahat since 17th of July last month, demanding justice and compensation. The victims have held discussion with the Premier today after the Office of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers corresponded with the committee on Thursday, urging them to withdraw their protest programs and opt for deliberation. Premier Dahal has assured the victims that a team led by Secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs Dinesh Bhattarai will be formed to reach an agreement and the authority would make efforts to solve the issue. 28 individuals had died on 21st of March 2007 in a clash between former Maoist rebels and cadres of the Madhesi Rights Forum in Gaur, Rohtahat. However, justice has remained elusive 17 years after the incident. The families of those who had died have made efforts to draw the government's attention towards the issue on several occasions. However, the authority has yet to take concrete steps to resolve the issue. Aam Janata Party led by Prabhu Shah have held demonstrations several times demanding justice for the victims. Meanwhile, a group of victims have accused Shah of his involvement in the massacre, saying that he is a former Maoist rebel and has been demanding to take actions against him as well. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
But before that, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday, we had asked you, why has the responsibility to investigate the gold smuggling scam been given to Nepal police? 26% voted for A, to make investigation effective, 24% voted for B, to crack organized crime, and 50% voted for C, to save one's kith and kin. And here's today's question. Why is the government indifferent towards checking the quality of items being imported in Nepal? Your options are A, unclear policy, B, lack of budget, and C, irresponsible government. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's time now for the international updates. Police arrested Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan in the eastern city of Lahore today after a court sentenced him to 3 years in prison for illegally selling state gifts. A video clip released by his party, PTI, showed a police motorcade carrying him from his home with sirens blaring. Khan was not visible in the video. Legal experts say the guilty verdict reached by a district court could end Khan's chances of participating in national elections that have to be held before early November later this year. Khan's arrest and detention for several days in May over a separate case had sparked intense political turmoil, and deadly clashes had erupted between Khan supporters and the police. Relatives were mourning 3 people killed in India's Manipur state today as fresh violence erupted amid a vicious sectarian conflict that has claimed the lives of over 180 people since May. A police spokesperson said the 3 people were killed last Thursday night and belonged to the majority Meitei community in the state's Bishnupur district. A spokesperson for a Kuki civil society group said it did not have an immediate comment on the latest killings. Violence erupted on 3rd of May in Manipur after a court ordered the state to consider extending to the majority Meitei population special economic benefits and quotas in government jobs and education that up to now have been reserved for the tribal Kuki people.
Sports news.
The batting coach of the Nepali national women's cricket team, Devika Palsikar, has arrived in Kathmandu. The Cricket Association of Nepal, CAN, had appointed Palsikar of India as the batting coach of the women's cricket team for the preparation of the upcoming ICC T20 World Cup Asia qualifiers. 44-year-old Palsikar is a former international cricketer who played for India. She will be involved in the training from tomorrow. Head coach Samasang Jongthapa has already started the team training from today. CAN had announced the preliminary squad last week. Palsikar, who has played 1 test match from the Indian national team, has also played 15 one-day international matches. She played domestic cricket for Air India and Maharashtra State. She was the assistant coach of the Indian national women's team from 2014 to 2016. She also worked as the assistant coach for the Bangladeshi team. She has also coached domestic teams in India. She will now coach the Nepali women's team in preparation for the World Cup qualifiers. CAN informed that the agreement with Palsikar will end after the World Cup qualifiers. CAN had called 24 players, including 6 new players, for the preliminary closed camp training for the World Cup Asia qualifiers. Nepal is in Group A of the World Cup Asia qualifiers alongside Malaysia, Bahrain, Bhutan, Qatar, and the UAE. Group B comprises of teams from Thailand, Hong Kong, China, Kuwait, and Myanmar. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.